Welcome back, and on today's episode we have Kelowna native and Vancouver actor, stunt actor, producer, writer, and she just came out with her new web series called Lifexp, Cassandra Ebner.
Ebner. I was born in Edmonton but moved when I was very little to Penticton and then grew up in West Kelowna, which is right near Kelowna. And I moved to Vancouver when I was 18 to get into the film industry. And I've worked now all over the world on Game of Thrones, on Flash, on Supergirl, on like all the CW shows, which has been a lot of fun. And Magicians, one of my favorite shows. So before I got into film, I was a live show person. I don't know what you call it, before Twitch was even around. So I was doing live shows, and then right after I got into the live shows, I started bringing my following over to YouTube, and I was a YouTuber for many, many years, paid over, I think I have almost 19,000 subscribers on there. And I did a vlog every day for 4 years, documenting my entire journey of getting into film. So when I was in West Kelowna, I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do in film, because I was like, I love everything to do with film, but I don't know what to do. So I interviewed different directors that were in the small town area, and they took me under their wing, and they were like, yeah, shadow us. And so I was their little helper with a lot of stuff. So I learned like what it was like to be behind the camera, what it was to create a story or find a story within someone. And I got to do everything under the sun when it came to like production assistant work. So I had grown up doing plays as well as my own YouTube videos, as I told you. And so I had the performance part down. And so when I moved to Vancouver, people started to know me as the girl who played rugby and was training to do stunts, but also had acting. And so my acting and stunt performance kind of got me into my acting roles, where I got to do my own stunts. Everybody's journey in stunts is different. Mine was that I came from an acting background, and I was really tough. Not to like toot my own horn, but literally people hire me because they know I'll hit the ground really hard. But some people have a martial arts background, some people have a gymnast background, and then once you have those backgrounds, you go and you train other things so that you have a plethora of skills that you can pull from, and you find the people within the community, which is easier said than done, but if you do find them, then people will point you in the right direction of the next training thing or the next thing to work on, and the community is actually quite giving in a lot of ways once you find out where they are. Yeah, gyms, like lots of open gyms around the Lower Mainland. There's a place in Delta, there's a place in like the parkour gym in Vancouver, people train there. You can pretty much find almost at any activity, you'll probably find one stunt person who's trained there or is training there. Once upon a time ago, you would work for free, but it's a lot different now where you can't volunteer as much. But like my project that I did, people who are trying to get to know people in the community, they'll come volunteer on a set because you'll hear through someone else that someone's creating something. And so even if it's not to just do with stunts, even acting, if you're wanting to get into that, going on set and helping out so that you know people who are creating indie stuff so you get to do more things. I think a lot of people forget that we love doing this. So go find the opportunities to go do it as much as you can. And so the people who are creating indie stuff, go help them. And then if you have the chance, maybe someone will want you on set if they have the chance to bring volunteers on there, which it doesn't happen often anymore, but you never know. Yeah, definitely. Create your own reel, create your own opportunities. If I can give any advice that I've learned is that people will help you, they'll give you advice, but you have to show them that you want it. So you have to go out there and get it yourself, or show them that you're trying your best to do that. My first paid acting role, because I don't want to talk about the old stuff, because that stuff's, I was acting on Arrow, and I was playing this girl who got really drunk at a party, and she gets, I think, slipped vertigo, or she takes vertigo, and then she ends up getting hit by a car at the end of it. And so that was like one of my first acting and stunt gigs. It was a acting stunt thing. So one of the coolest things I like to tell people about Game of Thrones is You know when you go on a show and it's that indie level and everyone's in it for the passion and they love it, and then sometimes you go on a bigger show and it's just people are there to make money? Game of Thrones is so big that you find the super passionate people who are doing their day job, and it's not about the money. They're there to make really good quality work, and it was like working on an indie set with a bunch of people who loved their job, and that was surreal. I think what I learned from Game of Thrones was that don't stop being the fan of what you do. Because I was there and I could have acted cool and been like, yeah, I'm here, man, like whatever. But I made so many friends because I was a fan of the show and I wasn't afraid to hide it. And so if anything, I learned just don't stop being yourself, I guess. So Lifexp is following a girl who ends up getting fired from her beloved bookstore job, and she ends up going into virtual reality video games as a beta tester in order to make money. The only problem is she's never done anything to do with technology before, and so when she starts testing these video games, she's really bad at it. And there might be something going on in the game to amplify why she's really bad at it, but I don't want to spoil too much. But it ends up affecting her everyday life and the way that she interacts with her best friend as well as her mom. So I broke my ankle 2.5 years ago on a show doing stunts, and so I had some time to think, and I went, I have 5 minutes to think, and now I just want to keep my mind busy because I missed creating like I did when I was a YouTuber. And so I was like, I missed that part of what I do, like, or what I have done. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this gaming web series that I always wanted to make. There was a gaming web series I watched when I was a kid, and I was like, this is amazing, like the feelings that this gives me, I wanna give someone else that one day. Just that you were understood for being weird. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this series. And so I started writing it, and then when I got a virtual reality system, I watched everyone go inside of it, and every time they'd put on the helmet, they would all make this face like it was the most amazing thing that they'd ever stepped into. It's so good. Yeah, and everyone like is like so like in awe of it, and I was like, that is the story I need to make. So I had gaming, I had awkwardness, and then I had virtual reality, and I bunched it up and made a story. One of the biggest things I learned creating my own project was you can't plan for everything. Like, I love to think of all the ideas and then try to prep it before it happens so that everything is ready. But then something else would come up, or there would be a contract you didn't realize that you had to get for someone, or any of these things, but they all come up. So you don't have to do everything at once. It's just a matter of, it's just making sure that you're ready to take on whatever comes your way. Oh, definitely. Like, I've learned so much from being on set, learning from others and watching people, how they do things, whether it's directors or my own stunt performers or another department. So every episode, we did it in the span of 3 weeks. And so it was 5 days a week that we were shooting. We shot for 16 days, except for the opening scene of Lifexp. We shot that on a separate day, so that was our 17th day. And we shot it for about, I think, 6 to 7 hours. And it was a night shot, or a night shoot. And it was like one of the biggest rainstorms ever in Maple Ridge that summer, and it flooded Maple Ridge the next day. Like, everyone involved was such a trooper, but it looked so epic because of the rain. So we have this super talented stunt performer who also does visual effects, and he did a lot of the like planning for what things look like, how we shot it. And then when we went into the digital world on computers and stuff and created the stuff, we would work together and come up with like, oh, we need to finesse it a little bit more like this. And so it was a lot of like, a little bit of prep on the day and then lots of it post-production. On YouTube at www.youtube.com/ebnerds, EBNERDS. You can find it on there for free, or if you want to go on Vimeo on demand, you can actually support our series, get behind the scenes footage, you can get a commentary on there, and the full uninterrupted version of Lifexp for $4.99. And so you can get some pretty good deals, like a latte. And you can get it, so you go vimeo.com/on-demand/Lifexp. What's your story, Vancouver?
Thanks for watching, and again, all her links will be down in the description below, and we'll see you next time.